Hi everyone, I'm Mena and welcome back explorers to my vlog. Also, if you are new here or are a return visitor, be welcome. Be sure to also look at the description below for all credits given. And with all that said, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Last time around, I talked about the anime Cardcaptor Sakura and uh, Cardcaptor Sakura Clear Card, and also mentioned that there will be a new season. I think it's going to be called New One? Maybe? Either way, I left off with not saying what this particular vlog would be about. So, I felt that for the last episode of this current run of my vlogs, I would um, talk about hobbies, or rather, the old hobbies I used to have, my current hobbies now, and possibly an old creative spark coming back. So, when I was much younger and was still in school, the main hobbies I had were actually reading a lot because I couldn't always watch what I wanted to watch. I mean, at that time, people barely even talked about animes because, well, at that time, anime was just starting to become popular over in the States here. And to believe it or not, most people didn't even know they were anime. Okay, so I did a lot of reading. I also did a lot of writing, believe it or not. And as I grew, I got involved with video games and drawing. Well, I get involved with drawing first. And even back then, my drawing wasn't the greatest. It was passable at best. And then I decided to take it in a different direction, but it became more sketchy. You know, like, um, yeah, it became more sketchy. I don't know how else to explain it. I also got into the games after that. So, those were the ones, those were the hobbies I had back then. Games only came later. And yes, these games were done on console and Game Boys, so there wasn't really anything with PCs per se, except for when I was in school or uh, was able to get some time on my father's computer, but that was only an hour at a time. And after that, it's like, no, you need to get off so somebody else can have a turn. Now, obviously, the hobbies I have now, the YouTubing, making videos, playing the video games to make the videos for, vlogging, um, and I should mention VTubing too. You've seen my VTube content. And yes, I will be doing some gaming content with VTuber stuff, but it's going to be more focused along the lines of the story I have in mind. So, the games picked out for the different looks I may have go along with that story. But that's neither here nor there. So, and when you come right down to it, the VTuber lore is a form of storytelling. And yes, my favorite VTuber form is actually the one that I use mostly for my vlogs. So I'm not giving that one up. That will be an appearance that I will always use, specifically for my vlogs. Though, when I started doing some VTuber stuff, I used that particular VTuber model for gaming too. However, I didn't stick with that. That one will only be for my vlogs at this point. I have a gaming VTuber model now too. Now, with all that said, an old creative spark coming back. Well, you remember my first one of my first hobbies was also writing. I was very prolific at the time. I wrote stories upon stories. I even tried to write books, but I didn't get as far as one of my other relatives. And I'm happy that she's actually gone a lot further than I ever did. So at least I got to inspire someone. Now, the creative spark I'm talking about is specifically writing. I have had some ideas that I'm trying to put down on paper. After all, when you have to focus your attention purely on one person at all times, you cannot spend time reading. You cannot spend time uh, writing. You cannot spend time playing video games. You cannot spend time making any YouTube content. That, well, basically your life becomes dull and boring because you have to pay attention to one person and one person only. And it's even harder when you're dividing your attention between that person who demands it all and children. Yeah, there's enough about that. We'll talk about that later. So, I'm just glad that writing spark, the spark of imagination, is coming back a little bit at a time. And I at least started telling the tale, as it were. Now, I'm not sure if I want to actually open. Well, I'm not sure how I'm going to go about sharing my story, as it were, but it could be anything from, oh, what is it? It could be anything from sharing it on Facebook, or maybe, that, what is that blogging site? I don't know what it's called. I'll figure it out. Oh, Tumblr. There's that one. There's also DeviantArt. However, the name DeviantArt, yeah, that winds up becoming problematic, and I've been told it has changed considerably to the point where if you share anything on that, beware of AI taking it as their own. Yeah, I think I won't share it there. But either way, the next vlog you will be seeing will be the start of another round of vlogs. And this last time, it didn't quite work the way I wanted because I wanted to do at least 50 real life versions of real life vlogs and 50 VTuber vlogs. That didn't happen. So, I'll just base it on weather. And yes, even if I did record this earlier in the day, it still would have been dark because it's raining out there. It's been gray and overcast and gloomy all day. And yes, there was a portion where it rained. But it's going to be a bit before you get to this block. So, I guess I'm saying hello to you all in the future. And the next vlog after this will actually be done on time. So don't worry. At this point, I think I've talked your ears off long enough. So I'm going to end this episode here and leave you all with this. If you have been enjoying my content, please feel free to leave a like and or subscribe. You can also leave a comment down below in the comment section. Be sure to hit that notification bell because YouTube doesn't always like to share. Be safe, be healthy, and as always, be true to you. Amena, signing out.